Hey, it's Rachel Abbott, and you're listening to the Standard's Tech and Science Daily podcast. Coming up, co-founder of Web Summit, entrepreneur Paddy Cosgrave. But first, President-elect Donald Trump has handed Elon Musk the job of running a new Department of Government Efficiency as part of his new cabinet.
Trump has delivered on a pledge he made during the election campaign, which was to put Elon Musk, the very rich but slightly erratic boss of Tesla, Twitter, that's now X, and also SpaceX and the various companies, in charge of an efficiency drive to save billions, possibly even $2 trillion from US government spending.
That's the London Standard's deputy political editor, Jitendra Joshi.
What he's done alongside Musk to head this new initiative, another tech entrepreneur, Vivek Ramaswamy, who we might remember from earlier in the Republican campaign. He sort of made some waves as a potential candidate himself, running against Trump.
The Republican Tesla boss was a big help for Trump in the presidential election, giving him millions of dollars to help him be elected.
So Elon Musk emerged during the campaign as one of Trump's most vocal and certainly one of his most deep-pocketed supporters. He stumped up about $100 million in contributions towards the campaign, which guaranteed him a place at the top table in the new administration. He's already been taking a part in the transition. Also, big questions about potential conflicts of interest. Elon Musk has lots of corporate interests, and many of those have got big contracts with the US government, in particular his rocket company, SpaceX.
Trump has indicated that this new role will operate outside the confines of government.
How does that work constitutionally? Does that ruffle feathers in Congress? Possibly. We'll have to see. In terms of what it's actually going to do, it's all quite vague. Trump is saying it will, in his words, dismantle government bureaucracy, slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. I mean, that's a pretty big job already, and there's no suggestion that meanwhile Elon Musk is going to step aside from his many corporate responsibilities. So how's that going to work in practice? We'll have to watch this space.
Next, 71,528 people from 153 countries are attending a sold-out Web Summit this week. And continuing on with our coverage, the man behind the world's largest tech event, co-founder Paddy Cosgrave, joins us now. Paddy, how is the 2024 Web Summit?
Incredible. The largest number of startups we've ever managed to persuade to come and exhibit at Web Summit. The atmosphere is electric in a year that's probably the toughest year in a generation for tech startups.
And why is that?
Over the last 2 years, the level or amount of investment by venture capitalists has declined at a rate not seen since the dot-com collapse a generation ago. And that just hasn't dissuaded entrepreneurs from starting companies. And there are, for whatever reason, more startups here than ever before, and in particular more bootstrap startups here with a product with revenue than ever before. Bootstrap startups being tech startups that are growing without ever having sought external funding from venture capitalists.
And it's a good year for women in attendance as well.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, a number of years ago, the percentage of startups at Web Summit who were part of our different programs that had a female founder was in the single digits, 7-8%. This year, it's at an all-time high. Of the nearly 3,000 startups who are exhibiting at Web Summit, 44% of those startups have a female founder, which is kind of mind-blowing. It's unprecedented.
What are the hot topics at Web Summit 2024?
AI is the biggest topic. Politics, there's been a recent election and there's much talk about that election, the impact that it may have on elections in other countries.
Do you think Trump's going to disrupt tech over the next year?
Great question. I worry desperately for the billionaires that I knew who weren't on Team Trump immediately after the election, but then I realised the tech billionaires everywhere are going to be fine, irrespective of who won the election. That's kind of the way things work in the United States.
Finally, what makes Web Summit the best tech conference?
So it's not so much a kind of a collection of individuals, but a collection of communities. And at the heart of the event are meetups. And by day and by night, I'm going, to example, to a robotics meetup on Thursday. Not just a robotics meetup, but a specific robotics and manufacturing meetup. And so the ability to just find the longest tail, nichest of niche events. If you're into technology and you want to find 20 people working on the craziest area of space tech or health tech or within music, you'll find them at Web Summit. And that's I find that personally quite a thrilling thing.
Next, Amazon has confirmed it's shutting down Freevee, its previously free streaming service with advertising, which will be merged into Prime Video and phased out within weeks. It appears some content has already migrated over, and Freevee shows will still be available to those who don't pay for Prime. That's according to Deadline. This news isn't a total surprise. Back in February, it was reported that Amazon were planning to make this move following ads being introduced to Prime Video. Amazon said in response that to deliver a simpler viewing experience for customers, the company had decided to phase out Freeview branding, but that there will be no change to the content available for Prime members. Next, LED lights mimicking a natural ocean camouflage could reduce the chance of a great white shark attacking. That's according to Australian researchers who say when testing LED lights on seal decoys pulled by a boat than on decoys without lights attached, less shark interaction occurred. They say some marine species emit light from their undersides as a camouflage strategy, because any predators below them looking for a snack will be searching for a silhouette illuminated by sunlight from above. You can read more about their study in the journal Current Biology. Let's go to a break. Coming up in part 2, a study to test the calming effects of cannabis. See you back here in just a minute. Welcome back. The UK Science Secretary Peter Kyle has announced that thousands of postgraduate students will be backed by government to study biological, engineering and environmental sciences at 45 universities. Students will study cutting-edge science as part of a £500 million skills drive. It's hoped the backing will unearth new discoveries and bring through the expert workforce that can grow our economy and improve lives for years to come. Similar funding packages supported former University of Leicester PhD student Dr. Roland Lee, who created a tool to reduce the harm of air pollution by monitoring its levels, which is now available to millions around the world. Now, Australian scientists are testing a component found in cannabis to confirm what users have long said about its calming effects. Researchers from the University of Sydney tested cannabinol, or CBN, on rats in a number of sleep-orientated tests. They concluded that sleeping for the subjects did improve. Despite some sleep aid products being sold in the US containing CBN, they say there has not been high-quality scientific evidence until now. They hope this study will support new treatment for sleep disorders, such as insomnia, in the future. The study is published in the journal Neuropsychopharmacology. And finally, thousands of oysters released into Scotland's Firth of Forth are said to be settling in well to their new environment. Oysters have been absent from the estuary for nearly 100 years. Through a project called the Restoration Forth, it's believed the oysters reintroduced to the estuary have had an 85% survival rate. Edinburgh Shoreline, Fife Coast and Countryside Trust, the Marine Conservation Society, Project Seagrass and the WWF have been working together to restore the oyster habitat. Heriot-Watt University led monitoring sessions with divers and underwater camera equipment to check on their status. You're up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Standard podcast with Mark Blunden. Tech and Science Daily returns tomorrow at 1 p.m. For all the latest news, head to standard.co.uk.